Namaste ladies, this is Jo from Return to the Self and I'm welcoming you to Spiritual Pregnancy. Spiritual Pregnancy is a yoga teacher training in the sacred realm of pregnancy, birth and early motherhood. This is a time where women are in a period of life which is sacred, and this course is designed to give you techniques and tools to honor women and bring them into their intuitive self. So this course is a pregnancy return to the source, an essence of womanhood, to give insight into the power and magic of this period. So I'd like to tell you about the essence of the course. So firstly, this is a practical course. This is a course which will give you the tools you need to teach women in group classes, in private classes, and to teach women in the first trimester, second trimester, third trimester, to give them an experience of preparing for birth, and also to give them the tools they need to really empower them in the postnatal period. So the content of this course is very open and wide-ranging. So of course the essence includes a strong focus on asana. In my view, the approach to asana which I use is not to really focus on the modifications, let's call it, of the practice. So pregnancy is not a time in which we really should be thinking about what we can't do and how, although as a teacher we need to have the knowledge of which poses are not appropriate for pregnancy and which poses are beneficial for pregnancy. My focus on this course is to give you really an understanding of how pregnancy is a very powerful time. It's a time when we come into our essence as a woman and really our ability to connect to the forces bigger than ourselves is really, really powerful. So this is why I call the course Spiritual Pregnancy. All women in the stage of pregnancy really feel completely different. Every sense changes, the physical changes in the body as we study in our anatomy section are enormous. So, it's very important to get the full picture of how pregnancy really is a Siddhi. So if you've studied the Patanjali Yoga Sutras, which anyone who's taken the 200-hour yoga teacher training will have, you'll have understood how yoga in the traditional sense really ends up enabling you to access spiritual powers, and these are really mind-bogglingly amazing. So you have if you read autobiography of a yogi, you'll see how the yogis are really able to access those those magic powers. Teleportation is like the ultimate manifesting objects, and these are the sort of siddhis of the hatha yogi who is an ascetic who has devoted his life to deep and strenuous and very tapas based spiritual practices in order to allow his energy to rise up his spine in order that he can access the samadhi experience. So let me put it like this. So when a woman has been gifted with life within, she has the intuitive wisdom of really being able to access these siddhis, these magical powers, just by being in this state of having received life. Therefore, really honoring this time is really understanding that women are in the state of the mystica, so they are able to access the intuitive voice, and the intuitive voice is louder, and it means that their practice will change. But I would like women to really feel that their yoga practice isn't about what they can't do anymore. So be that taking out practices that they did on a daily basis that they really enjoyed, or be that their ability to maintain strength practices in the 3rd trimester, for example. But when we really draw women into themselves and into this understanding that their intuitive voice is louder and the veil is a little thinner in terms of their access to the divine during pregnancy, birth especially, and the postnatal period in a very different way, we can begin to really place the yoga practices in a way which make them seem very powerful. And that is why this course is called Spiritual Pregnancy. So I hope that gives you an idea of where this course is coming from and why studying to teach pregnancy and to empower the other important life stages of a woman's life is so powerful and so beautiful. So my course includes asana, my course includes mudra, my course includes mantra, my course includes deep relaxation, which is really important during this really life stage, which can be very, very draining if we choose not to find those opportunities for deep rest. Another important part of the course is the ways in which we can really honor women in this life stage, which for me is yoga. So we incorporate the ceremony aspect of pregnancy and postnatal life. So one of the newest features of this course is to really give you an insight into the Blessing Way ceremony, a ceremony to honor pregnancy in her fullness, in her abundance, and to give this woman the transition between her maiden to her mother life stage a really potent portal, and to be this supportive energy. In the other side of the birth experience, so in the postnatal stage, we also include the closing the bones ceremony. And this ceremony is a ceremony to really allow her to give, instead of to feel the energy of depletion and giving and all of her postnatal world with her baby, it's to give her the sisterhood and support to allow herself to receive energy and to be nourished and to be nurtured by her sisters and by her community. And these are really important ritual aspects of the course, which really mark my course as a sacred spiritual pregnancy course, as opposed to just learning the asana and the techniques which we can help women with. So I'd like to talk about birth. Birth is our greatest portal into power which a woman has. So for me, this is a really important part of the course. So from the practical point of view, we start with understanding, the sacred anatomy and physiology of birth. And beyond that, we look at tools which can support women to find their power in the experience of birth. So I deeply value a woman's own voice when it comes to all aspects of her pregnancy and birth. However, oftentimes what is most empowering for a woman is to really understand that she was born to be able to access that experience in a natural and autonomous way. So that means that she is perfectly capable of really finding her own strength and her own inner voice to guide her through that experience in a way that doesn't rely on logic, in a way that doesn't rely on the medical profession to guide her and give her the tools to navigate the birth experience. She, by listening to her own inner voice, is really able to come into her power, and yoga very much supports this process. So during a lot of the feedback I've had from women who have attended the course and from the students of those teaching is how yoga really can change the birth experience. So why would this course have an impact on the experience of pregnancy and birth? You know, obviously there is the health aspect of it. So having having access to fitness and breath is key to the experience, but it's also being able to tap into your power, and your power lies in this deep inner listening to what it is appropriate for you. So when women are really informed, when women have the information, they're able to make choices. So I am absolutely okay and support any woman who, with all of this information, is then prefers to choose, for example, a elective cesarean. It's absolutely her own choice, but my feeling is that most women do not have the information and do not really understand that there is a very deep sense of knowing within that can guide you through these experiences. If you were able to really tap into the feminine wisdom, the intuitive voice, the mystica, she who guides us through these experiences. So birth is a very important aspect of this course. So oftentimes women will start pregnancy yoga because they are concerned about their birth experience and they want to have a better birth experience. So birth is our sacred portal into power, and in many ways women have really been robbed of their access to this experience through the medicalized history of birth that started a few centuries ago. So for me, personal choice in the birth experience is really important. However, even the most medicalized of births can be women focused and women centered. So the choices we make as a woman are really informed by the information that we've received and we've digested. So this course starts by offering you as the teacher and you as the space holder an insight into anatomy and physiology of the whole birth experience, which forms the basis of your understanding of how yoga and yoga techniques can help the woman to access her own power. We look at how breath can give us the tools to navigate a birth experience. We practice asana and techniques to guide us through a birth which is empowered. And I also would like to talk about the experience of ecstatic birth and even an orgasmic birth. When a birth experience is really taken as an opportunity to explore the voice of our inner world, and we're able to listen and not be overwhelmed by the rushes and the flow of the birth experience, which is a really extreme experience, we can step into our power. And that might mean that we can birth our babies into the world in a way which is autonomous. So we are the center of our births rather than a doctor. So a classic example of this is, for example, when you look at in the UK royal family, when they post on the Buckingham Palace the sign saying that the woman has been delivered of a baby, this is really what I'm getting at. A woman-centered experience is an experience when they have the voice and they have really the strength to listen within and be guided by the surges and the waves and you know, the rhythms of their animal nature. and to return to this real primal and earthy essence, which will guide them through the experience if they were able to listen. So, this for me, this course is not about promoting natural birth. This course is about promoting the opportunity for women to listen to that voice, and yoga is the tool we have. The postnatal period, when a woman has her baby with her, is one of the most neglected stages of a woman's life. And from the yoga perspective, oftentimes the normal rhythm in this modern time is for a woman to basically feel that they just need to go back to where they were. We have a lot of women going into regular yoga classes with the agenda of getting back into shape, which is informed by, really all the ideas of the modern world that we should, that we should look a certain way. And this is highly damaging to our experience of the postnatal period. So one of the most important parts of this course is to really try to offer the tools which empower pregnancy, but also to look at how different the postnatal stage is. So we look at how asana and pranayama and pelvic floor work, and how deep relaxation and form part of this period, and what women would really find the most nourishing and nurturing. So, this is really, the pre and postnatal stages are very, very much in the yoga world have been kind of lumped into one. So often you'll find classes in the world which have both groups of women together, which really doesn't work in my experience. And learning all of the tools and techniques to serve their needs really brings it home how the pregnancy experience is one of abundance, it's one of experiencing fullness, it's also one of opening and preparing a gateway for your baby to come into this world. The postnatal period is one of deep self-love, it's one of nurturing yourself as you are giving all of this energy to your baby or your babies. It's an opportunity to really come into stillness, to silence, and to support yourself during this time with practices which are nourishing, with practices that are nurturing, and with practices which enable you to feel good on every possible level. So I'm going to talk about how this course is taught. So one of the essences of this course is the feminine experience of being nurtured, of being supported, of sisterhood. So this comes through in how I teach the course, and how I invite the women on my course to experience, and it also is transmitted on how they take this essence through into their own prenatal classes. So oftentimes yoga classes can actually be taught in a very male way. So for example, the teacher is at the front giving the knowledge, and everybody lines up with their mats. And actually it's a very linear and a very structured and a very authoritarian offering. Whereas what I bring to this course is to enable both yourselves as an experience on the course, and for the women who are coming to your classes or to your work, to have an experience of firstly being nurtured, honored, respected, and cared for, and being nourished and honored as how they really bring themselves in. So this is an important element when we start to work with pregnancy, with birth, and with motherhood. And this for me is very critical in how I present the work. So the reason I really want to bring in the voice of blood wisdom into this experience and this video is to allow you to see how each life stage is integrated, and how pregnancy and the birth experience can be completely different if we have this context for this experience. I'm going to give you a context for this course which really places pregnancy in the whole of the woman's life cycle. So sacred femininity, the divine feminine, really allows us to see each stage of a woman's most potent life stages as sacred. So firstly, I'd like to talk about our initiation into power. So a woman's initiation into power is to enter her menarche, understanding and really being honored that this is a time of sacredness. It's a time where her intuitive voice really becomes alive. So her own inner yoga experience is highly potent. So menarche is the first blood. It's our opportunity to really begin living the cyclical wisdom of the feminine. Really understanding this gives us the whole picture of a woman's life. And it really precedes our experience of pregnancy. So I think it's really important to really understand and feel these essences of womanhood, really to be in this course and understand that this is part of the whole spectrum of the sacred feminine. So if we are initiated into menarche with really a deep respect for our own intuitive wisdom and our own inner yoga, our own cycle of the inner moon, then it means that we have the best opportunity to allow pregnancy to be received in a way which it really informs the empowerment of the experience, and it gives women the voice to listen to. So if they have been initiated into menarche with the voice of shame, with the voice of embarrassment, with the voice that their blood is something to be essentially flushed away down the toilet, or if it's not honored, then some of the aspects of pregnancy, and most importantly birth, will, it's more difficult to navigate this stage. After menarche, we are initiated into our menstrual cycle, and our menstrual cycle is our guiding star. She offers us the opportunity to connect to a daily change in our being through the stages of maiden, mother, the ovulation stage, to our wise woman stage, which is the via negativa, and then into menstruation. And menstruation herself is this gift to women. It's this opportunity to tap into the vision quest, which we are offered on a monthly basis as a woman. So if we start to listen to the voice of our cyclical wisdom, then we are gifted with an opportunity for a female spiritual life. So understanding this is essential when we start to enter the realms of pregnancy. And although it's a completely different experience, it's also one of the most potent times of a woman's life. She has received life, she is abundant, she is in this kind of ever-changing flow as the baby grows, as things change, and her ability to listen to that daily flow and change through each trimester is very much influenced by her own relationship to her inner guide. So if she has listened to her menstrual cycle and her inner wisdom through that cycle, then she has a kind of greater potency to really enter pregnancy as a sacred time. So oftentimes women will even tell you that they are aware that they've conceived even before the pregnancy test shows that they are pregnant. And this is definitely an experience which I had, given I tested when I was pregnant with my daughter and it came negative. So, the inner voice is very clear and very loud. So being tuned into this gives us really, our most intuitive wisdom during this time. I'd like to finish by just talking a little bit about really what it means to be a pregnancy yoga teacher. So, and this is what I have really understood over the years in my work with women. So firstly, the work is about empowering women to listen to their inner voice. It's about offering women the tools to really go into a healthy pregnancy, and that health is not only your physical health but also your mental health, your ability to tap into your power during that period. So it's the power of choice, being able to choose a class which really resonates with you at that particular time. So knowing when it's a great time to go and perhaps go into a group yoga class and continue and modify, and knowing when the time is right to really come into a space where you're supported by other women, creating a space in a pregnancy class where you can offer women the opportunity to connect to their baby. And it's so important to have that opportunity, which you don't get in a regular yoga class. It makes an important difference to a woman's life. For example, if they're coming from a space where they have to dedicate most of their time to working in the world, and they come into a space where you really have permission to connect to the baby. And this is really something which you won't get if you just go into a regular class and modify. And from a point of view of offering private classes, you can really offer that woman exactly what she needs at the time. So it's to give you a toolkit of practices, from traditional hatha yoga practices, from pranayama, from mudra to deep relaxation. It's really to offer you every single tool so that you can feel comfortable and knowledgeable to offer that woman exactly what she needs at that time. So thank you very much for being with me, and I really look forward to meeting you, to being with you in person, and to take this sacred journey of the divine feminine together. And I'm sending you lots of love from beautiful rice fields of Bali. And yeah, Jai Ma, Namaste. This is Jo from Return to the Self.